The banquet hall was everything I expected: opulent, excessive, and a monument to Michael's desperate need to showcase his wealth. Crystal chandeliers cast shimmering light over the crowd as waiters weaved through, balancing trays of champagne. All of it, funded by money that should have secured our daughter's future. "Ma'am," a young server stepped in front of me. "I'm sorry, but this is a private event." "I know." I clutched the silver-wrapped gift box tighter. "I'm Lily's mother, Rebecca Turner, and for the past 8 years, I've played the role my ex-husband wrote for me, the heartless woman who abandoned her family. But tonight, at my daughter's sweet 16, that script is about to change." "Mom?" I turned. Lily stood before me in an elegant ball gown, looking far older than 16. My heart twisted. Those familiar eyes, so like mine, were wide with confusion, and something else: anger, fear, both. "You're not supposed to be here," she said, her voice unsteady. "Dad told me." "I'm sure he did." I held out the gift. "Happy birthday, sweetheart." Before she could respond, Michael materialized beside her, his arm locking protectively around her shoulders. He hadn't changed: same expensive suit, same flawless charm that once captivated me, now repulsive. "Rebecca," he said smoothly, his smile all performance, "this is a private event. You weren't invited." I met his gaze, unwavering. "Our daughter turned 16 once, Michael. I wouldn't miss it." His laugh was hollow. "Our daughter? You forfeited that claim when you walked out, right, princess?" Lily hesitated, then nodded, but her eyes lingered on the box in my hands. Curious, she had always been curious. "At least let me give her my gift," I said, "then I'll leave." Michael tensed, ready to object, but Lily moved first. She reached for the box before he could stop her, his greatest fear unfolding, losing control of the narrative. "Fine," he exhaled sharply, "open it quickly, then your mother can go." Lily peeled away the silver wrapping, lifting the lid. Inside, nestled in white tissue, was a single USB drive and a letter. Her brow furrowed. "What is this?" "The truth," I said softly. "Why I really left. What happened to the money from the house. Everything." Michael stiffened. "Lily, give me that." But she was already pulling out the letter, scanning the first few lines. Confusion shifted to shock. Michael had counted on one thing when he forced me out: that I would disappear, that I wouldn't fight back. What he hadn't counted on was that I'd spend 8 years gathering proof, waiting for the perfect moment. And what better moment than the party he threw to flaunt his perfect life? The life built with stolen money. Lily's voice wavered. "Dad, what is this about a trust fund?" Michael lunged for the letter, but Lily pulled it away. "It's nothing, princess. Your mother is trying to cause trouble, like always." "Really?" I pulled out my phone, tapping on a banking app. "Shall we call the trustee? I'm sure he'd love to explain how you forged my signature to drain Lily's college fund." Michael paled. "You're lying." "The same way I lied about the embezzlement charges." My voice remained calm, even as years of rage simmered beneath. "The ones you buried by threatening to take Lily from me if I went to the police?" Lily's hands trembled around the letter. "Or should we talk about Rachel?" Her head snapped up. "Who's Rachel?" I held his gaze. "Your father's mistress, the one he was with while I was taking care of my dying mother, the same woman who's now his business partner, living in the house my parents left me." Michael's grip closed around my arm, his fingers digging in. "Outside, now." I smiled, seeing the panic in his eyes. "No, Michael, I'm done playing by your rules." The murmurs in the hall grew louder. Guests were noticing. His flawless mask was cracking. "Whatever you think you know," he hissed, "you can't prove anything." I tilted my chin toward the USB. 8 years of statements, emails, phone records, conversations I recorded before you threw me out. The police have copies, so does the IRS. Lily's breathing hitched as she skimmed through the letter, her face paling. "Dad, is this true? Did you really?" "Don't listen to her," Michael snapped. "She's unstable. She left because I found out you stole from me." The room went silent. And for the first time in 8 years, Michael had no script to follow. The music had stopped, conversations had died. All around us, guests were staring, some wide-eyed, others holding up their phones, discreetly recording the spectacle unfolding before them. Michael's perfect illusion was crumbling. I cut him off. Or couldn't handle the restraining order you threatened me with if I ever tried to contact my own daughter? His face darkened. Security, he barked, panic seeping into his carefully measured tone. Remove her. They won't, I said smoothly. This venue belongs to my cousin Thomas. Remember him, the one you tried to blackmail last year? He's quite interested in how this plays out. Michael stiffened. Lily had finished the letter. Her hands trembled as silent tears slipped down her cheeks. All this time, her voice cracked. You didn't abandon me. Dad made you leave. My heart ached at the years we had lost. I reached for her hand, bracing for rejection, but for the first time in 8 years, she didn't pull away. I never stopped trying to come back to you, sweetheart, but your father made sure I couldn't. She's lying, Michael snapped, but the confidence was gone. The room was too quiet now, too many eyes were on him. Lily, princess, you know me, you know I would never. Never what? My voice cut through his desperation as I pulled another envelope from my purse. Never forged my signature to steal her trust fund, never used my parents' deaths to seize their estate, never threatened to take full custody if I exposed your affair with Rachel. I handed the envelope to Lily. These are copies of everything, bank records, legal documents, photos, the originals, with my lawyer, and as we speak, he's likely handing them over to the DA. Michael lunged, but Lily was faster, clutching the envelope to her chest. The look she gave him, the pure, raw betrayal, was the moment he had always feared. Princess, he pleaded, reaching for her. Don't call me that, she whispered, not right now, I need to think. And then, in her perfect ball gown, my daughter turned and ran from the ballroom. Michael moved to follow, but 2 security guards, Thomas's employees, stepped in his path. His eyes snapped back to me, burning with rage. This isn't over. I smiled, feeling 8 years of fear, anger, and loss finally lift. You're right, I said, it's just beginning. The aftermath, the days after Lily's party unraveled like the perfect storm. Michael scrambled, desperate phone calls, threats of lawsuits, anything to salvage the wreckage, but the dominoes had already begun to fall. By Monday morning, the DA's office had announced an official investigation into his financial dealings. By noon, the IRS had frozen his accounts, and by evening, the real bomb dropped. Rachel, his mistress-turned-business partner, had vanished, taking everything from his safe with her. You ruined everything, Michael's voice boomed through my cousin's office, where I sat with my lawyer. He had been calling non-stop. Rachel's gone, she took the documents, the cash, everything. Do you have any idea what you've done? I smiled, thinking of the anonymous tip she had received about his other girlfriend, the one he had been seeing behind her back. How unfortunate, I mused. I suppose she also found the offshore account records you've been hiding from her? Silence, a sharp inhale. How do you know about those? I leaned back in my chair, the same way I know about the shell companies, the falsified documents, and the judge you bribed during our custody battle. I tilted my head. People tend to talk when they realize they've been played. And Rachel? She hadn't just disappeared, she had gone straight to the FBI. Turns out, discovering you were just another pawn makes for a great motivator. Lily was staying with my sister, Jane, trying to process the truth. The letter I had given her contained more than evidence. It held the birthday cards, letters, and photos I had sent over the years, the ones Michael had intercepted, proof that I had never stopped trying to reach her. She won't even talk to me, Michael muttered, voice cracking. My own daughter. Our daughter, I corrected, and can you blame her? His jaw clenched. I did everything for her, to give her the life she deserved. No, Michael, you did it for yourself. I let the silence hang for a moment before checking my phone. Marcus, I said, glancing at my lawyer, how long until the arrest warrant comes through? He checked his messages. DA says tomorrow morning. They're coordinating with the FBI. Some charges cross state lines. I met Michael's frantic gaze. This isn't over, he repeated, but this time, his voice was barely a whisper. I stood, smoothing my dress. You're right, I smiled. It's just beginning. I nodded, thinking about the meticulous trail of evidence I had gathered over the years, every fraudulent transaction, every forged signature, every veiled threat, every detail, carefully documented and preserved, waiting for the right moment. That moment had finally come. The next morning, I drove to Jane's house. In the garden, Lily sat on a wooden bench, her knees pulled to her chest. Without the polished perfection of her party dress and carefully styled hair, she looked younger, more fragile. "Mom," her voice was quiet as she looked up, "is it true, about Dad, about the arrest?" I sat beside her. "Yes, the police are picking him up this morning." She was silent for a long time, picking at a loose thread on her sleeve. "All these years, I thought you didn't want me." Her voice wavered. "Dad said you had problems, that you weren't fit to be a mother." A deep ache settled in my chest. "I know, sweetheart," I swallowed back the lump in my throat, "and I am so sorry I couldn't tell you the truth sooner, but your father's threats weren't empty. He had judges, lawyers, people in his pocket. If I had fought him back then, he would have made sure you never saw me again." She finished the thought for me, like he did anyway. I reached into my bag, pulling out a worn leather notebook. "I never stopped fighting to get back to you," I said, placing it in her hands. "I kept this journal, your birthdays, school events, awards I read about in the local paper. I wanted you to know that even though I couldn't be there, I was watching, I was waiting." Lily turned the pages with trembling fingers. "The USB drive," she whispered. "I watched some of the videos last night, the ones of Dad threatening you, of him with Rachel, in our house." I exhaled, my chest tightening. "I'm sorry you had to see that." "Don't be." She met my eyes, and for the first time, I saw steel in her gaze. I needed to see who he really is. Just then, my phone buzzed with a news alert. "Prominent businessman Michael Turner arrested on multiple fraud charges." Lily read the headline over my shoulder. "What happens now?" she asked. I took her hand in mine. "Now," I said, "we start over, together." The aftermath. Michael's arrest sent shockwaves through the city. By the time the trial began, his once flawless reputation was in shambles. Decades of fraud, manipulation, and deception laid bare for the world to see. But the real story wasn't about Michael's downfall. It was about Lily and me. One evening, she brought a dusty box into the living room. "I found these," she said, setting it on the table. "Dad hid them in his study." I opened the lid and gasped. Photographs, faded and creased, but unmistakably ours. Me holding her as a baby, her tiny hands wrapped around my fingers. A birthday party I hadn't been invited to. My face in the background, half hidden in the crowd. "He kept these from you?" My voice shook. She nodded. "I guess he wanted to erase you completely." For the next few hours, we sat on the floor, going through each picture. I filled in the memories he had stolen, her first steps, her favorite bedtime stories, the way she insisted on wearing her Halloween costume year-round. Halfway through, she stilled. "You used to sing to me," she murmured, "when I couldn't sleep. I remember now." Tears burned in my eyes. 8 years of pain, of loss, of silence, finally breaking apart. Michael's trial was swift and brutal. The evidence was airtight. Rachel testified, exposing every hidden account, every backdoor deal, every crime he thought he had buried. 15 years in federal prison. But justice didn't just come in the form of his sentence. The court ordered full restitution, all stolen assets returned, including Lily's drained trust fund and my parents' estate. When we walked through our old home, now legally ours again, Lily ran her fingers along the walls. "Everything looks the same," she murmured, "but it feels different." I understood. This house held so many ghosts, but now, we had the chance to reclaim it, to fill it with new memories, ones not tainted by Michael's lies. The media eventually moved on, but in our community, the whispers never fully faded. "Mrs. Peterson apologized today," Lily said one evening over dinner. "She said she should have known better than to believe Dad's stories." I thought of all the times Margaret Peterson had crossed the street to avoid me, how she had warned parents not to let their children near me. "People believe what's easy," I said. "The truth is harder to face." Moving forward, 6 months after Michael's arrest, Lily and I sat in the garden, planning her college applications. The stolen trust fund had been restored, with interest, ensuring her future was secure. "Mom," she hesitated, tapping her pen against her notebook, "how did you do it? Keep fighting all those years?" I thought of the nights spent gathering evidence, the quiet ache of missing birthdays, the unwavering hope that one day, she would know the truth. "Because I knew you were worth it," I said simply, "and I refused to let him win." She hugged me then, something that had once been so foreign, but now felt beautifully normal. I'm sorry I believed him for so long. Don't be. I brushed a strand of hair from her face. You were a child, he was your father. The important thing is that we're here now. Later that evening, I found the first piece of evidence I had ever gathered, a bank statement showing the first fraudulent transfer from Lily's trust fund. I remembered how it had all started, the sick feeling in my gut, the quiet decision to fight, even when it felt impossible. Michael had thought he had erased me from her life, that his power, his money, his lies had sealed my fate. But he had underestimated the one thing stronger than his greed, a mother's love. Now, as I listened to Lily playing piano in the next room, something she had rediscovered after years of silence, I felt peace. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. We had healing to do, trust to rebuild, memories to reclaim. But we would do it together. Because the best revenge wasn't destroying Michael. It was reclaiming our lives. And this time, we wouldn't waste a single second.